Hi, I'm Amanda from Integrative Healing with Amanda Butler. I provide energy healing combined with psychological perspectives to facilitate a deeper connection with the divine within. Today, we're going to do a clearing to really let true love into our hearts, into our lives. And so, what do I mean when I talk about this? And what do I mean by true love, even? So, my use of that is talking about like a really, deep, meaningful soul connection, heart connected relationship with someone, whether that's a partner or twin flame, or even, whether it's another loved one, family members, friends, children, anyone in your life who you feel that heart and soul connection with. And we can also be talking about true love of like a calling or a purpose or a career or something that you really love doing, like maybe it's creating art or things like that. And so letting in that true love, being able to feel that love fully. And this was going to start out as being a video about fear of true love, but as I was reflecting on that a little bit, most of the fear around really like letting true love in seemed to be actually fear of loss, which I recently did a video on, and I'll pop that into the comments. And so fear of true love, fear of loss, because if we really open to that true love, we are also opening to the possibility that we might lose that maybe the relationship doesn't work out, and that's scary. Or there can also be a fear of what we will lose if we really open to what it is we really love, whether that's another person or a calling or career or something we like to do, because love always seems to shift and change a lot of things. There was a situation where I fell very much in love with someone, and that has changed the whole course of my life. And so it can be kind of scary to let true love in, because it's like, what will I lose from the life I knew before or the person who I have been? And there's also something around, like, if you really let that love in and feel all of those feelings that come along with that, then if you're opening to feeling that feeling, you're opening to feeling other emotions as well, and that can be scary. It's like this feeling of, if I really let this love in, I might totally drown in it. And so the personal inspiration is coming from my own experience with that, and the archetypal inspiration is this song that I really like by Leon Bridges called Beyond. I'm sure you've heard it. It's a great song. I love it. The chorus says, I'm scared to death that she might be it, that the love is real, that the shoe might fit. She might just be my everything and beyond. And so this, I think, captures perfectly what I'm talking about with like that fear of true love, that fear of really being open to it. And so when we're talking about opening to true love and letting it in, we're talking about clearing the fear of it. We're talking about opening really to it, and maybe even kind of surrendering to, how that might affect us if we really let that true love in, and then letting it in, being with it, allowing it, and accepting it, receiving it, being able to give and receive that love, which can be scary to really, feel that deep connection with someone if maybe we've been hurt before, or we really haven't had deep relationships like that. And again, I'm not talking about just like a situation with a partner or something like that. We really follow our hearts to follow what feels like a calling, or something that we really like to do, that love will change us as well. And for another example of this, like kind of going along with the drowning metaphor, I was once listening to this interview with someone who was like either a psychologist or a Jungian analyst or something, and the person being interviewed, the psychologist or whoever it was, and the interviewer were talking about this dream that the interviewer had had where there was this big wave that was coming for him and he was really scared of it catching up with him and he would drown in it. And so that's like also kind of a perfect metaphor for this. If I really surrender to true love, really let true love into my life, I'm just going to drown in it and I'll never be the same. And so if we are kind of afraid of letting that true love in or really opening to it, then that can come up as like self-sabotage, putting conditions on that love or that relationship out of fear. Like, I really feel like a deep connection with this person, but I'm not going to try and do anything about that because I feel so much potential, and if I lose it, then that's horrible. And so then that fear of loss kicks in. Or putting conditions on, I really feel called to do this thing that's maybe unconventional, but I feel afraid of what my family will think if I choose a different career path. So I'm just going to do it sometimes and not, really make any moves to really try and see if it could work out as something that I do, more regularly or more seriously. And so that's what we're clearing, that fear of true love, that inability to open to it, and that clearing for that willingness to really let it in. And so let's get started. So we're clearing, again, the fear of true love, and that's often tied in with fear of loss, which there's another video for, and also like any fear of intimacy, really clearing also to be emotionally available to self and other. So let's see where we start. We're just going to prep to work. That is connecting with Source, asking permission of your soul to perform this clearing. And it's like my higher self and your higher self working together to clear what needs to be cleared. Okay, so we're going to be starting with SRT, which is the main modality that I use. It stands for Spiritual Response Therapy, and there are 32 charts. So let's see what we've got. And so clearing now around relationships, particularly sexual relationships, sex, intimacy. That fear of intimacy is often a big thing that ties into this fear of true love, particularly if we're talking about a relationship with a partner or a twin flame, a soulmate, someone that we want an intimate relationship with. clearing around any ways that, any selfishness, like even on like a subconscious level that we're not really aware of, might play a role in not letting true love in, not being open to like a real heart and soul connected relationship with someone, or really following one's heart, whether that's in a relationship or a calling or something that they like to do that feels fulfilling. So clearing around any selfishness. And now clearing around love of life as well. Perhaps it's having a true love of life that is the love that needs to be let in, that allows all of the other love to come in as well. If maybe we don't like being incarnated in this world or living this life, it can feel hard to really have a lot of love or a lot of enthusiasm for anything else as well. And so also when I'm talking about this clearing to be open to true love and let true love in, maybe in your relationships you have been the one who's been open to it and willing to let it in, but you've attracted people who have not been open to that, who've maybe been closed off, not very emotionally available, not really wanting to fully feel their feelings, that kind of thing. And so this is also about clearing, whatever it is, like subconsciously or, from past lives or something running in your field that is attracting that kind of thing, so that you can attract people who really are emotionally available and willing to really enter into a true love relationship with you. And now clearing around any imprint of the idea that there's something wrong with you. Like maybe if you have had a history of relationships that have been hurtful and things like that, clearing around this idea that, like, well, I'm just messed up, or there's something wrong with me, or I just don't deserve, a good relationship with someone who actually really loves me and is emotionally available, or that kind of thing. So clearing around any of this idea that there's something wrong with you. We're all on a journey, and we all have signed up, to learn certain lessons and experience certain things. And so there's nothing wrong with you. Just clearing around that idea and clearing to download the lesson, download the understanding, bring in what it is that you need to know so that you can move forward in ways that feel joyful to you as far as your relationships and what you're wanting to do with your life, in alignment with your true heart's desires. Okay. And clearing now around any light energy discord so that you are really connected to the light that you are, the expression of spirit that you are, without any discordant energies or anything that's out of alignment in that. Really aligning to your true soul blueprint, what your soul wanted to experience, that divine storyline for your soul's journey overall. Clearing now around any higher level blocks that clearing around any higher level blocks so that you can really express your full potential, move up to the next level, really be aligning with your true heart's desires and that which really is in alignment for you. Clearing now around any lessons to accomplish before moving on, working with one. And so this is like working with one is like that level of, understanding of the oneness, really experiencing that oneness with the divine, that oneness that we all share as all being expressions of the divine. And really integrating that and downloading any lessons that we need to learn before moving on to what's next. Kind of closing this chapter where maybe true love has been difficult to let in for whatever reasons. Tying up those loose ends, downloading the lessons, and then moving on. Kind of like tidying up the room that we're in before walking out the door and closing it behind us. Like that kind of thing. Moving on now to chart 21, final items, this one universe. That's kind of more of that similar energy of tidying up the room before moving on to the next thing. And so Alpha to Omega, clear, search, clear, and harmonize. That's kind of exactly the thing that I was just talking about with the clearing up, any additional loose ends. Clearing any outdated contracts, anything like that. Resolving anything that needs to be resolved before moving on. Just finalizing this experience before moving on to the next experience. Clearing now around any ramifications. So those concerns about, like, well, how does this really affect me and my life? Maybe others in my life, if I really open to true love in whatever form it's meant to come in right now. So clearing around those ramifications so that it feels like a positive thing. Okay, moving on to chart 28, final forgiveness. Clearing now any emotional impingements, anything that would emotionally prevent us from really being emotionally available to ourselves, to others, to really feeling our feelings, to really expressing our feelings, to really letting that love in, letting it move through us in whatever ways it's meant to. Moving on now to chart 29, final blessing, about really feeling blessed, really feeling good, and clearing now the Holy Spirit body. Clearing around the infinity stream now on chart 30, final light. And This is like really connecting with yourself as an infinite being. Clearing around the infinite possibilities, the infinite facets of true love. A line from a song comes to mind, here's to the infinite possible ways to love you, in this song called Have It All by Jason Mraz. I'll pop the lyrics on one of the slides here. And so clearing to remember your identity as an infinite being, to be open to the infinite ways true love might show up in its life, and to be able to let that in. Okay, moving on to chart 31. Clearing around any other factors that need to be cleared related to this. Sort of like an equation with infinite factors to be considered, clearing around all of those factors related to this issue. And moving on to chart 32. Clearing now around any ideas in the consciousness of spirit that need to be cleared. And it looks like that's a wrap for this modality. Okay, so just completing a mop-up of SRT before moving on to our other modality, QST, Quantum Speed Therapy, created by Alexandra of Spiritual Healing Therapy, who also has a YouTube channel with clearing videos that you can check out. Okay. Right, starting now by clearing around healing integration. So clearing the way to really integrate this clearing, really integrate this healing, and really integrate any other healing you've done that needs to be integrated in order to really let that true love in. Clearing around memory entanglement now, particularly like around any memories where it just didn't work out, or you've been hurt, or where it was really scary to really love something, or really feel your feelings, or really be emotionally available. Or, any experiences of, people not being emotionally available, and maybe all of the ways that made you feel a certain way about yourself, or feel bad, or that kind of thing. So clearing memory entanglement. Clearing around greater surrendering, to be able to really surrender to the love of the divine that exists within you, and from there be able to open and let in that true love. Being able to see things through the eyes of love. So clearing around greater surrendering. Okay. And applying the energies of the accelerator to really accelerate this process, accelerate this clearing, accelerate this healing. Really accelerating, letting true love in. Okay, moving on to chart 2. The first item that comes up is duplicate. And this, I feel, is like this clearing having kind of a ripple effect on those in your life who are your loved ones, who are, important to you. And so you're doing this clearing and you're, working to ascend and to raise your consciousness, and you kind of being the example, being the element in the system of your relationship that is changing, and any change to one part of the system affects the entire system. And so really creating that ripple effect in your relationships with you being open and letting in true love. So duplicate, creating the ripple effect. And clearing now around the energies of restitution. So any ways in which it feels like, you've forfeited true love or lost out on it or missed out on it in some way for whatever reason, allowing that love to come back to you, to be restored to you, maybe not from the same person or the same, situations or relationships that you felt like you missed out on it from, but coming to you in other ways, maybe in different relationships, maybe through pursuing something that you love, like a calling or something else you like doing. So allowing, any true love you felt you missed out on or forfeited in any way to be restored. Clearing now around the energies of completion. So feeling complete, as well as completing and bringing closure to the old story where, maybe true love wasn't coming in, completing that chapter, completing that story, and now shifting to a new chapter. So bringing in the energies of completion. Bringing in also the energies of the cocoon as a protective energy, a protected container for this transformation to take place, and also bringing in the energies of that transformation taking place within the cocoon. And bringing in the energies also of redefinition, being able to really define and connect with what true love means to you in alignment, with your soul and the divine within you. What does that mean in that context? Really connecting with the divine within you, with your own soul, to define and understand and really feel what it feels like for you to feel true love. Okay, moving on now to chart 3. Applying now quantum computations, like a really quantum level clearing to allow that true love in. Sort of like if your consciousness was a computer, like kind of recomputing on the quantum level to be able to allow that true love in and really be able to feel and experience and live from that place of love of life, love of self, love of others on a true deep level. And clearing now also around the energies of assimilating. So, we're clearing around being open to that love and then really receiving it, really assimilating it into our beings, really connecting with it and feeling it and allowing it deeply. So, assimilating. Clearing now around the energies of change and openness. So, being able to allow that change, allow that openness, to be able to let that love in. Now on to chart 4, clearing now around the energies of absorption. Again, kind of like assimilating, being able to really absorb that love and let it in. Really feeling it deeply. This one reminds me of, there were some song lyrics that we started off with that kind of talk about the kind of being scared of that true love, like scared of, letting that right person in. And although, over the course of the whole song, it kind of shifts, but now some different lyrics come to mind. This song that says, "What a feeling in my soul, love burns brighter than sunshine. Let the rain fall, I don't care, I'm yours, and suddenly you're mine, and it's brighter than sunshine." And so that's kind of like really absorbing it, really letting it be a part of you. And that song is by a singer, goes by the name of Aqualung, and I'll pop the lyrics in here too. And let's see. So I'm getting the mop up signal. Looks like we're about done. Okay, so that's a wrap, completing a full complete mop-up wrap-up of this clearing. And so I really hope that you've enjoyed this video and that the clearing is a blessing in your life. If you have found this video helpful, give me a like and a subscribe, and it would be really fun to hear what you thought of it in the comments. So after clearing also, be sure to drink a lot of water, more than you normally would, to kind of flush out the toxins and allow the clearing to really shift what needs to be shifted. If you would like a deeper clearing, you can reach me on my website, amandabutler.net, where you can book a clearing related to true love or any other topics that you might like some assistance with. And I wish you all the best. Namaste.